When I say that artificial intelligence has a packaging problem, I'm not talking about UPS delivery trucks. I'm talking about something much more important. Most people think of packaging as putting something into a box before it's shipped across the country. But inside the semiconductor industry, packaging means assembling one of the most advanced pieces of technology ever created. Now, before we begin, I want to introduce you to something called the AI factory. Every breakthrough in artificial intelligence depends on multiple layers working together. You have power, which is reliable energy that starts it all. You have cooling, keeping systems running at peak performance. The networking is the high speed connections that move the data. Advanced packaging is what we're talking about today, which is the critical layer that brings it all together. You have the memory, which is the massive bandwidth for data intensive workloads. And then you have the cloud, which is intelligence delivered at scale. Every breakthrough in AI depends on every layer. Today, we're going to focus on the one that makes it all possible, which is advanced packaging, which might be the least understood, but potentially one of the most important layers in the AI factory. Welcome to the AI Factory. In this series, we're going to explore the companies building artificial intelligence one layer at a time. Every episode begins with a bottleneck, and then we use the 20-minute stock hunt 5-star system to evaluate the companies building the solution. Because the next trillion-dollar opportunity might not be designing AI chips, it might be packaging them. To understand why packaging suddenly matters, we first have to understand how AI chips have changed. Think about computers 20 years ago. The motherboard looked a lot like a small town. I was born in a small town, and I live in a small town. Where the processor lived in one neighborhood, memory lived somewhere else, and the graphics card occupied another section, or the GPU. Electrical pathways connected everything together. And there was plenty of space. Information had to travel relatively long distances. But today's AI chips are built completely different. Instead of building a suburb, engineers are trying to build Manhattan or New York. You got everything stacked together. You have the GPU, you have the HBM or high bandwidth memory, you have chiplets, power delivery, ultra fast interconnects. Everything sits incredibly close together. Why? Because every millimeter matters. The closer these components sit together, the faster the latency or the delay, the less power is wasted. And the more AI calculations can happen every second. Then there's a trade-off. Building Manhattan is much more difficult than building a suburb. And that's exactly why advanced packaging has become one of the biggest engineering challenges in artificial intelligence. AI chips aren't just getting bigger, they're getting denser, and density changes everything.
Dense bread instead of nice, light, soft, and airy. I bet you I know exactly where it went wrong. Let me show you.
To design the world's fastest AI chip is incredibly difficult to do, but designing that chip is only half the battle. Today's processors contain multiple chiplets, several stacks of HBM or high bandwidth memory. They need ultra fast interconnects, power delivery systems, thermal materials, and thousands of microscopic connections that all have to work perfectly together. Every new generation of AI accelerators packs more compute, more memory, and more bandwidth into a single package than the generation before. And that's why advanced packaging has become so important. It's no longer simply protecting the chip, it's assembling the chip. Without advanced packaging, the world's fastest GPU is nothing more than a separate pieces of silicon sitting on a table. It can't train ChatGPT. It can't power an AI factory. It can't do anything. Advanced packaging transforms dozens of individual components into one complete AI processor. For years, investors ask, who will design the fastest AI chip? But the next question might be, who can package it? So now that we understand why advanced packaging matters, the next question becomes an investment question. Which companies are best positioned to benefit? And rather than simply asking which stock could go up the most, I'm going to evaluate each company using the 20-minute stock hunt 5-star delivery system. Every company will be scored across 5 categories. You have AI exposure. How important is artificial intelligence to the company's future? You have market position. Is the company the leader or gaining market share? You have the financial strength of the company. Can the company continue investing through the AI boom? You have the growth potential. How much upside remains over the next several years? And then the valuation. Has Wall Street already priced in the opportunity? Or could investors be underestimating it? Not every great company deserves the same score. Some investors want the industry leader. Some prefer companies gaining market share. And others look for businesses undergoing major transformations. The goal isn't simply to find one best stock, it's to understand which investment thesis fits your own portfolio. One company completely surprised me during my research, and another remains the undisputed leader, and one is quietly transforming its business around AI. So let's find out how they scored. Now that we understand why advanced packaging has become one of AI's biggest bottlenecks, the next question is who is going to win? And the first company is ASE Technology.
ASE empowers limitless AI applications with advanced packaging solutions.
So, unless you've worked in the semiconductor industry, you might not have heard of ASE Technology. But companies like NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, Qualcomm, and many of the world's largest chip designers certainly have. ASE is the world's largest independent outsourced semiconductor assembly and test company, or OSAT, which is a term to remember. Its job is to take finished silicon and transform it into a complete AI processor that's ready for deployment. And when AI chips become more complicated, ASE becomes more important. The company generated roughly $22 billion in annual revenue, has a market capitalization approaching $88 billion, and continues investing aggressively to expand advanced packaging capacity. In fact, ASE spent more than $1 billion on equipment in the first quarter of 2026. So that tells me management believes advanced packaging demand is not slowing down, it's accelerating. So let's run ASE through the 20-minute stock hunt 5-star system. And the first is AI exposure. Advanced packaging sits at the heart of ASE's business. As AI accelerators become more complex, demand for ASE services should continue to grow. So they get 5 out of 5 stars. Market position. This is where ASE separates itself. It's the world's largest independent OSAT. Scale matters, customer relationships matter, and manufacturing experience matters. ASE checks every box, so they get a 5 out of 5 stars. The financial strength of the company, approximately $22 billion in annual revenue, healthy balance sheet, consistent investment in future capacity, And finally, ASE is one of the strongest companies in the industry, so it gets 5 out of 5 stars. The next is growth potential. The company is still growing, but being the market leader also means maintaining that leadership becomes more difficult, and future growth should be solid, just probably not as explosive. So, growth potential gets 4 out of 5 stars. Valuation is next. Investors recognize ASE's quality. You're paying for an industry leader. That doesn't make it expensive, but it also isn't a hidden bargain. So they get 3 out of 5 stars for a final score of 22 out of 25. So the AI Factory's takeaway is, if your goal is to own the backbone of advanced packaging, then ASE is the benchmark of all companies in the space. Every dominant industry has a challenger, and in advanced packaging, that company is Amkor.
At one end of the ecosystem, you have original equipment manufacturers, or OEMs. These are the companies that sell phones, computers, consumer electronics, and cars. They're responsible for determining what they want their products to do. But when it comes time for manufacturing chips, they turn to semiconductor companies. These largely consist of IDMs and fabless companies. IDMs, or integrated device manufacturers, generally handle everything from designing to producing products. Fabless companies, as the name implies, don't fabricate products. Without production lines, they instead focus on semiconductor design. After chips are designed, the wafers are manufactured in foundries or fabs. These can be standalone companies or part of an IDM. After wafers are cut into small dies, they're packaged into the tiny protected devices that make products work. This packaging and test stage can also be handled by IDM factories or by OSATs. OSAT stands for Outsourced Semiconductor Assembly and Test, and are companies focused on this very important and specialized task. OSATs are grouped by the size of their operations and capabilities. Smaller OSATs are labeled Tier 3, while the biggest are grouped as Tier 1. Once packaging and test is complete, the finished packages are handed off for final product assembly by an EMS, or Electronics Manufacturing Services Company. Amkor is a Tier 1 OSAT. In fact, Amkor was the very first OSAT, pioneering the outsourced packaging and test model 55 years ago.
So unlike SAE, Amkor is not defending the top position. It's trying to take market share, and that creates a very different investment opportunity. Amkor recently reported record first quarter revenue and continues investing aggressively in advanced packaging. One of the biggest reasons investors are paying attention is Arizona. The company is building one of the most important advanced packaging facilities in the United States, partnering with Taiwan Semiconductor.
Two of the world's largest chip firms have announced a partnership on a vertically integrated manufacturing base in the U.S. Taiwan's TSMC and Amkor, the biggest chip packaging company in the U.S., announced a 10-year agreement to localize semiconductor production in Arizona. The deal will see Amkor build a new $7 billion facility near TSMC's U.S. factory in Phoenix. Packaging is the final stage of the chip manufacturing process, where silicon components are encased in a protective layer.
And as companies like TSMC or Taiwan Semiconductor expand U.S. semiconductor manufacturing, having advanced packaging nearby becomes increasingly valuable. Management also plans to invest between $2.5 to $3 billion this year to expand capacity. Now let's see what Amkor's score is through the AI Factory. AI exposure. Advanced packaging sits directly in the middle of Amkor's long-term growth strategy, which gives Amkor a 5 out of 5 for AI exposure. Next is market position. Amkor isn't the largest, but is the clear challenger, and that position gives it meaningful opportunities if demand continues expanding. So market position is a 4 out of 5. Next is financial strength. More than $7 billion in annual revenue, strong liquidity, healthy balance sheet, and aggressive investment. This gives financial strength a strong 4.5 out of 5. I think it's 4. Next is growth potential. And this is Amkor's biggest strength. You have the Arizona plant expansion, you have AI infrastructure demand, and management's ambitious 2030 goals all point towards a company focused on growth. And last but not least is valuation. Like ASE, investors already recognize the opportunity, and the stock is not cheap, but neither is the industry it's serving, as it gets 3 out of 5 stars. So you have a final score of 21 of 25. The AI factory takeaway is AI represents leadership, Amkor represents expansion, and if management executes successfully, closing the gap with the market leader could create meaningful upside. Now let's look at the company that surprised me the most during my research, Kulicke and Soffa. Unlike ASE and Amkor, KLIC isn't primarily packaging AI chips. Instead, it's helping enable advanced packaging by selling the equipment manufacturers need. So think back to the California gold rush. Some companies dug for gold, and others sold for picks and shovels. KLIC is closer to the second group, and here's what caught my attention. This is what's interesting. Today, advanced packaging represents only about 10% of KLIC's total revenue. And at first glance, it doesn't sound very exciting. But management expects its thermal compression bonding business to grow rapidly and is expanding capacity to support approximately $400 million in annual advanced solutions revenue. And if management delivers, advanced packaging could eventually represent roughly a third of the company's business. And that's a major transformation. Now let's give KLIC an AI factory score. And the first is AI exposure. Advanced packaging is still a relatively small part of today's business, but it's becoming a much larger growth driver. So it gets 4 out of 5 stars. Next is market position. Market position is supposed to be where transformation is. Anyways, market position gets 3 out of 5 stars, not the 5 out of 5 here on transformation. KLIC isn't competing directly with ASE or Amkor. Instead, it occupies an important niche by supplying advanced packaging equipment. Next is financial strength. Yeah, they have a healthy business, strong profitability, and a solid balance sheet. So they get 4 out of 5 stars. Next is growth potential. This is why KLIC is today's wild card. The company's business mix is changing rapidly, and if management executes, growth could surprise investors. So they get 5 out of 5 stars. So for evaluation, they get 4 out of 5 stars. Compared to some AI infrastructure names, KLIC still appears reasonably valued considering its transformation story. So they get a final score of 20 of 25. The AI factory's takeaway is KLIC isn't selling AI chips. It isn't packaging AI chips. It's selling the tools that makes the next generation of packaging possible. So after researching the advanced packaging landscape, here's how the 3 companies scored. You have ASE, 22 of 25 points. Investment style is the market leader. ASE remains the strongest overall company in today's group. And if your goal is stability, scale, and industry leadership, ASE sets the standard. The next is Amkor, 21 out of 25 points. The investment style is a growth stock. Amkor combines strong fundamentals with aggressive expansion. If advanced packaging demand continues growing, Amkor has a clear opportunity to gain market share. And the next is KLIC, Kulicke, and Soffa. They get a score of 20 out of 25. Investment style is transformation, as KLIC carries more execution risk, but it also offers one of the most interesting business transformation stories in advanced packaging. Now, these were not the only companies that I researched. I also evaluated several additional companies across the global advanced packaging ecosystem, including international OSATs and packaging equipment manufacturers. And rather than trying to squeeze everything into one video, I included those companies, their 5-star scores, and my complete research in this video's AI Factories research notes for members at buymeacoffee.com, the AI Factory membership. And the link is in the description. And that includes companies like JSET, Tongfu, PTI, NEPES, BE Semiconductor or BESI, KAMT, and Onto, and along with where they fit inside the AI Factory point system. Because the goal isn't simply to find one stock, it's to understand the entire ecosystem. So inside the AI Factory, you have power, cooling, networking, memory, cloud, and today's advanced packaging. Every AI chip, every AI server, every AI factory depends on this one layer working flawlessly. And without advanced packaging, there's no AI factory. And that's exactly why I believe this area deserves far more attention from investors. So the biggest winners in AI won't all be household names today. Some will design the chips, some will build the data centers, some will generate the electricity, and others will quietly build the technology that makes everything else possible. And sometimes the companies enabling the revolution create more value than the companies receiving all the headlines. And that's exactly why I created the AI Factory series. Every episode will break down another critical layer powering artificial intelligence. One bottleneck, one ecosystem, one investment opportunity at a time. Today we explored advanced packaging. Next video, we're going to move to networking in the AI factory. So if you enjoyed today's episode, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe. And if you'd like to go even deeper, the AI Factory membership includes weekly AI Factory research notes or research notes from every video, expanded company scorecards, video visuals, and additional research that doesn't make the final video. And as always, this is 20-minute stock hunt. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. And this is for entertainment purposes only.